The Three Bears. A long time ago, there lived a small family of three bears in a desolate house in the midst of a forest. Every day, Papa Bear used to go for work early in the morning, and Mama Bear kept the house scrupulously clean. Without fail, Papa Bear used to get some honey for his darling Sunny Bear, who used to wait with bated breath for it. Papa Bear used to say that it was from the store by the riverside on the other end of the forest. The honey was among Sunny Bear's favorite foods. He wouldn't eat bread without it, and he wouldn't agree to have a meal without a spoonful of it. His obsession with the honey was getting over Mama Bear's head, and she would crib about it to Papa Bear, but he wouldn't hear a word of it. He loves it. Let him have it as much as he wants. And that closed the argument. As each day passed, Sunny Bear became more and more addicted to the honey. He would demand Papa Bear to get more of it and made a face when Papa Bear tried to put some sense into him. One day, it was late in the evening, and Papa Bear still hadn't returned from work. Mama Bear grew anxious. As she stood at the doorway, she said aloud to herself, Papa Bear is usually at home by now. Wonder why he's so late today. Sunny Bear sat by the table, equally concerned about his father, but that didn't stop him from putting a spoonful of honey into his mouth. That very moment he heard his mother shriek and dropped the spoon, bemused. Papa Bear limped in slowly, carrying his small briefcase in one hand. Mama Bear rushed to give him a hand and helped him to lie down on the bed. Despite finding it hard not to do so, Sunny Bear couldn't help but scrutinize Papa Bear's things for his usual share of honey. As if reading his thoughts, Papa Bear said sadly, I'm sorry, Sunny. You will have to do without your favorite honey for a few days. Today I slipped and got hurt at the riverside while trying to get off the boat. And so it happened that Papa Bear didn't go to work for the next couple of days, and Sunny Bear missed his honey badly. So one fine early morning, he decided to get it himself. Of course, he didn't breathe a word of it to anyone at home, or they wouldn't let him go. The next morning, he told Mama Bear that he was going over to a friend's place for some time. But little did anyone know that he was actually going to get the honey for himself. So he walked for a long time through the dense forest until he came to the riverside. Unfortunately, the river was swelling up that day, but nothing could stop him. He drooled at the very thought of his favorite honey and promised himself that he would get to savor it very soon. The heavens seemed to favor him then as he saw a tiny boat anchored nearby. Soon he was on top of it, paddling away happily to the other side. But to his dismay, he found no store when he reached there. Actually, it was a deserted stretch of land abounded with many huge and tall trees. Disappointed, he looked towards the skies, not knowing what to do next, when suddenly his eyes fell on something. At the top of it was the biggest and the most beautiful honey bee hive he had ever seen. Did Papa Bear get his honey from there? He wondered. It was growing dark and he had to act fast. So, as swiftly as he could, he started climbing the tree. He fell down a couple of times, but he did reach his destination in a while. He got stung by a couple of bees as he tried to put his hand into the hive for his honey. Alas, by the end of a few grueling hours, all he got was just a little honey and quite a few bee stings. On his return journey home, he thought of the travels Papa Bear would have to go through to get his favorite honey every day. He felt very ashamed of his self centeredness and vowed to be empathetic in the future before demanding anything. Needless to say, from that day onwards, Sunny Bear no longer pestered his father for more honey. Of course, he remained mischievous as ever.